My name is Constance. I'm an artist who works primarily with upcycled paper and plastic. I use the technique of rug hooking as well as hand weaving and some embroidery. This piece from 2007 is made from sales receipts, cut into strands, folded, and pulled through a loose grid. In the spring of 2019, I was fortunate to have an exhibition of my work to date at New Canaan Museum and Historical Society. The inspiration for the show was the late 19th century cigar ribbon quilt visible in the lower left corner of the top image. This object from the museum's collection is a beautiful example of combining consumer detritus with a craft technique. My work is in the same tradition, only I use contemporary materials. Abstracted rug hooking is a grid and a strand pulled through the grid. This piece uses orange construction fencing as the grid or matrix, and upcycled paper and plastic as the strands. The swatch card shown bottom right catalogs all the materials used to make the piece. Exhibiting the previous piece at an art fair led to an invitation to a residency at Boxo Projects in Joshua Tree, California. While there, I went out with the Joshua Tree Clean team and helped collect garbage along Highway 62, which runs through the town. In 1 hour, 9 of us gathered 13 large bags of garbage, which I took back to the studio to work with. Slide 6. These are grids from the Joshua Tree Metal Yard. A bed spring, a refrigerator coil from which the Freon had already been released, and a car bench spring. There's a Circle K convenience store in Joshua Tree. These supersized styrofoam Polar Pop cups were littered all over the desert. I took the ones we collected and made this piece called Polar Pop Invasion. I combined the frame from the door of a refrigerator discarded in the desert with the car bench spring and wove paper and plastic collected in the desert through the spring to make this piece. These small pieces used the refrigerator coil as their matrix. This is one of my favorite pieces from the residency. A handyman stopped by the studio and offered me a coil of copper wire. As I started working with the collected garbage, I realized many pieces would not work for weaving. I threaded those large pieces like beads onto the copper wire. The result was this glorious strand. On the left, I'm carrying the strand on my back and proclaiming, quote, "Sometimes we get attached to our burdens," unquote. Next, the strand became an intervention on an empty sign frame along Highway 62. Quote, "Always one shoe, never two," unquote, refers to the comment another Clean team member made when I asked, "Where's the other shoe?" This piece from 2009, made mostly from New York Times delivery bags, was inspired by an article that I'd read in the Atlantic magazine about plastic in the ocean. So each of the pieces in this 2016-2017 series contains plastic collected on the beach, mostly mylar balloons, ribbon, and commercial fishing rope. I'm holding a bouquet of balloons I picked up during a half-hour walk on a beach in Long Island. Last summer, during a residency in Provincetown, Mass., I participated in a beach cleanup organized by the Center for Coastal Studies. On the left is a detail of some of the ghost gear, or marine plastic pollution, that we collected. On the right is a piece made with it. I've become increasingly interested in hand weaving. These are experiments made with marine debris. While in California, I had the opportunity to visit an injection molding plant. I brought some plastic sprue, or waste, back to the studio, and most recently have been making these sculptural pieces. They use discarded plastic fishing rope to bind together a mass of industrial plastic waste. These last two slides show some of the things that inspire me. A 14th century map of the cosmos, insane and very beautiful. Slide 17. I invite you to take in this collage of inspiration. The dog in the center captures how I feel about my good fortune to be able to spend time doing what I enjoy most, thinking about and making art.